Okay, guys, back at it again with the Screencast-O-Matic, and today we're talking about lead fishing tackle effects by yours truly. I'm Kaylee Harrington. It's right there. My name is on it. Okay, onto the slide. Okay, so if you don't know what fishing tackle is, basically think of like any type of fishing gear, but the ones we're focusing on is the ones made out of lead. And basically, any type of fishing gear, I don't know, it's like you name it. The list is like endless to leers, floats, nests, lines, hooks. There's more than that. Those are just some of my examples. I even have a picture. That whole thing, that whole picture you see, that is all fishing tackle or fishing gear. And basically, I mean, this is a no-brainer, but they're used by fishermen. Okay. So, what's the problem with lead fishing tackle is that apparently the type of birds, like this is the common loon, I have a picture of it right here, just in case you're wondering what type of bird that is, with like their foraging behavior, they'll eat fish basically. And if this fish has eaten any type of this lead fishing tackle, it's going to transfer on to the bird. So basically, it's a chronic disease. The birds, these poor birds, they'll end up dying of lead poisoning. They don't all die in one place. Their carcasses are kind of hard to find because they'll die in like some type of vegetation, and they're scattered. Their bodies are scattered. There's usually a sick bird that'll go into hiding, like I already said, in some vegetation. And also, lead can lower our water quality too, as well. And here I have this bullet point of how many metric tons were sold in the U.S., Canada, and also Europe. That's kind of a lot looking at those numbers. On to the next slide. So basically, negative effects on birds. I have a picture right here of a bird that swallowed one of these lead fishing tackles, and it looks kind of nasty. You can see the hook and stuff. It's kind of gross. But like I already said, birds that eat up fish, like birds that end up eating fish that consumes lead fishing tackle. In North Carolina, there's about like 28 species of bird that normally eat lead tackle. I already said it, like it's birds like the common loon. There's an experiment done on loons, and it was found that the growth rate itself was reduced to 1.4%. The study, they didn't use any live animals in the study. It was basically like 253 loon carcasses that were used, and they were basically doing an autopsy on them, trying to see what they died from. It's not this slide. We'll go back to that one later. But it's this slide. The stat is what they mean, like where it's located. Like this is the Cunning School and Tufts University. The COD, that's like the cause of death unknown. We have one known and we have one that's unknown. And this is the all documented mortalities. Lead tackle mortalities. This is the one specifically, like the name suggests, as caused by lead. And they also sampled the blood tissue lead levels, because that's how they figured out if they, ate the lead tackle or not. This one right here, these two tables, this is from another experiment. Basically, so they calculated, they did different areas, and they basically gathered up all the birds. They gathered up all the total mortalities collected, and on the left side, the ones that were, not all the birds died by, lead tackles. They probably died by other stuff, but they were specifically looking for the ones that died by consuming this lead. And for New Hampshire, it's about 48.6% out of the total mortalities. And if you think about it, that's almost half. That's kind of a lot if you think about it. It's kind of scary, but I don't know. The other ones is not as great. But 48, I don't know. That's kind of a lot. That's almost half, basically. And here's the ones, and this is the second table. All of these birds, they're already dead. Basically, this is all lead stuff, like all the total of lead tackle objects. Because there's like different sinkers. They focus on jigs and they also focus on sinkers, but like this types of stuff that the bird consumes, and other like some weird foreign lead objects. And this is the total. And yeah, they have the sources as a little proof. I'm gonna go. Oh yeah, I gotta go back here. Come on, buddy. Oh, this is another experiment done where they also collected other birds too. Except it wasn't just the common loon. They focus on other birds. Let me like explain this so you can understand it, because the graph is kind of weird. So here's the species. We have the common loon, we have the brown pelican, we have like the double crested, and we also have the black crowned night heron. And these right here until they get to here. It's like the centers they've been in, apparently healthy ones. The ones that they found dead, and also the total, and then it repeats itself with a different type of species. And the N, that means number, and this one also means number with ingested lead weights. And let me move this right here. And this is also the frequency located right here. So it's like these tables, they're 3 different experiments. Go to the next slide. If it will let me. Come on, homie. My guy. Okay, there it goes. This one also focuses on different species, and also has the country and dates. The common loon. This one, all of them focus on the common loons, like these poor birds. But and also this one also focuses on the brown pelican. It's the same experiment as the one I showed you on the blue table. They're trying to get on the type of weights. These ones focus mainly on like lead weights, and then they did the size, the mass of the weights, and like the lead by ppm. They took their liver and like tried to see how much like lead was in it. They did tests on it, and also in their blood as well. They did the liver and they tested the lead levels in their blood as well. So there you go. So you can see the bottom. They got the different types of weights here. Yeah, it's like the list of types of fishing gear. It's endless, but okay. Now we're gonna focus on like the water effects, but on like the lead effects on the fish. This boy right here. This a whitefish. This is the study they did in, and basically they took fish from like different types of lakes. The one I'm circling on my cursor, that's the reference, like the one that had normal metal levels. The other ones, these right here, this one I'm highlighting, and that one, and the final one, they're all contaminated. And apparently that the fish in these 2 lakes, like they held back on, they didn't make as much as the fish in the reference lake. They didn't make this type of enzyme called REM that you need in like healthy types of, they're finding like healthy bodies, but you basically need them in bone marrow. You basically find them in bone marrow and stuff, like they're commonly found in like blood and bone marrow. And basically that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean by that's the type of, this is a gene. The one I'm highlighting is a gene that makes enzymes called HEM. And it was held back. That type of like enzyme activity being produced was held back by 87 to 88%. Then the fish in the reference lake, meaning the fish in the reference lake had more enzymes being produced than the ones in these 2 lakes. Is basically the best way I can like explain it. There was no signs really in lead poisoning in the fish, and overall did not really affect the red blood count in fish. Usually, maybe doing these types of activities in fish would be good to knowing if our water is polluted. So maybe if we can like focus on different lakes to see which ones we should like kind of in a way cure, so we can like focus on certain lakes that are contaminated and try to like clean out and figure out a way to like clean these waters. Again, a fish would be like a good example to find out if the waters are like heavily contaminated with PM lead or not. Oh yeah, I have a map. Hold up. So you can better understand where these lakes were in. like these two lakes I was talking about that had certain enzymes like held back in the fish. And here's the other one. These three lakes were polluted. Right here, the little map so you can kind of understand where the fish were gathered from. A little sampling location for the whitefish boys. Oh yeah, I forgot how can I forget the solutions? I have a picture of some clay tackle. Um, just be honest, this kind of just outright ban anything that's like made of lead. Fishermen should use fishing tackle that are made out of clay, steel, and brass. Just avoid lead altogether. Save the birds. We should maybe educate these people about the effects of lead has on our environment. That's also a good way. And maybe like protecting nest areas, maybe like put signs around. Maybe like it kind of ties into this, educating, like warning people, warning fishermen that lead is like dangerous. You put these birds at risks. That's another good way. And oh yeah, I have one more thing. Just want to say thank you. Give myself a little clap. Here you go. Here's a picture of my fish. Here's my boy. There's my boy Penny right there. A little rotation. Okay. And I hope you have a nice day. I'm gonna get some fresh air. And goodbye, guys.